Good evening and welcome to Match Centre Live for this live commentary of Manchester City against Arsenal. It's the return of the Premier League. It's a day we've been waiting for. Perhaps we might just get a first goal, which we weren't able to get in the Aston Villa-Sheffield United game. As we speak, there is a minute of silence at the Etihad for the people who have lost their lives due to COVID-19. We're also expecting all the players to kneel due to the late George Floyd. Kickoff will be, though, in a minute or so we'll take you through the lineups. Starting off with the home side, Manchester City. It's Ederson who starts in goal on the return. A back four of Kyle Walker, Garcia, Laporte, who has been missed for the majority of the season by Manchester City, and alongside him to the left is Mendy. A midfield three of Silva, Gundogan and main man De Bruyne, with Mahrez on the right, Sterling on the left, and it's Gabriel Jesus playing ahead of Aguero up front. So we do have live commentary for you in about a minute's time, as this game is ready to get underway at the Etihad. Of course, Manchester City, the title has slipped away from them. It's a matter of when, not if, now, at last for Liverpool. But Manchester City, of course, still haven't confirmed their top four play. Leicester not too far behind them. It's Manchester City in sky blue. It's Arsenal in their navy strip. As we are underway at the Etihad, and it's hit long by Arsenal, straight out for a Manchester City throw down the right, which Kyle Walker will take. There is a screen right by both goalposts at ground level, which sees fans' live reaction, Manchester City fans' live reaction to the events, just to give a more normal feel to this very unnormal way of football. Manchester City currently have possession within their own half, as they're moving it about, trying to create some early chances. If you've just got some early problems with the stream, we're just trying to figure it out for you, as we're now a minute into this one at the Etihad, and it's Arsenal who have won the possession back, and it's gone back to Leno, who'll boot it long, and that's something we might see today, although his ball in behind's gone straight to Nketiah, who's in on goal. He's chipped the keeper, but he's just put it over the bar. Nketiah with an early chance, and that's something we're not used to seeing Manchester City do. A simple long ball from Leno over the top through the back four. Nketiah in on goal. Ederson off his line quickly, but Nketiah got there first to chip it over him, but it was just too much power as he kicked it over the bar. It's almost similar to the goal Aguero scored in the Carabao Cup final, I think 2 or 3 years ago, where it was a long ball forward from the goalkeeper straight to Aguero, who chipped at the time Petr Cech in goal. But of course the main difference is that Arsenal were unable to find the back of the net, and now it's Manchester City with possession by the midfield, but it's Aubameyang coming deep to win it back. Arsenal can't keep it for long as Silva wins it back. His long ball attempt is intercepted, and then Arsenal header it away where Nketiah is chasing against Kyle Walker, who's just about gets there first, and then plays it to De Bruyne, who plays it back to Ederson. And Arsenal's certainly not afraid to press so far, although it's been beaten by one pass from Ederson, and it's now played down the left towards Mendy. Mendy looks for a ball in towards Sterling, and it's an important challenge there from Garcia. It's whether it's a free kick that's been given, and it has against Garcia. It was just on the edge of the box, so it's going to be a real chance here for Manchester City. It was a ball in from Mendy, a low-driven cross. Sterling did get there first, actually, and he was well taken out by the signing Villar for Arsenal, who signed in January. Of course, hardly been able to play for the club since. If you do have any questions about the game, about the channel, don't be afraid to ask in the live chat. As soon as I see him, I'll answer to you. So after just 3 minutes here at the Etihad, there's a big chance from a free kick. Slightly to the left of the goal, it's right on the edge of the box. And maybe we might just get a first goal since the Premier League return, which we didn't get at Villa Park. So it's Kevin De Bruyne who's lining up, waiting for the referee's whistle. There it goes. Here is De Bruyne. And it's just over the bar. I think it might have been tipped over by Leno. As he went across goal, Kevin De Bruyne trying to curl it into the top corner. It was just tipped over by Leno. In the end, a comfortable save for the Arsenal man. So Manchester City have a corner, which is taken short to De Bruyne and then back out to Mahrez, who is in an offside position, and it's a complete waste from Manchester City. So there's two early signs of sloppiness from Pep Guardiola's side. First of all, the long ball in behind for Arsenal. And now just from the corner, completely wasting it. Although there's certainly been problems in terms of, or debates whether players will be able to return to full fitness. Well, there's an early player down for Arsenal, and it's Granit Xhaka, who's just getting treatment here. It's right outside the penalty, just inside the Arsenal penalty area. He seemed to have tripped over Guendouzi, and he stayed down, so it doesn't look like a muscular problem, but just a knock from on Xhaka, which has kept him down and required some medical treatment. And while that's going on, we can tell you about the earlier game where there was, in fact, a unofficial goal scored by Sheffield United. Nothing wrong with the goal, but there was something wrong with goal line technology, who didn't award it. The keeper caught it past the line, inside the net. But we're hearing that the referee's watch vibrated during half time, saying that it was a goal, and of course not during the match. So Sheffield United was taking away a goal incorrectly by goal line technology, and there's one of the early faults from the Premier League, who have done magnificently well, it's fair to say, to get this division up and going. It looks like Ceballos, who is to be warming up and getting changed for Arsenal. And it does look worrying for Xhaka, who's still not up on his feet. He's been down for a minute or so. And the stretcher, in fact, is actually on the field here. Xhaka doesn't look in terrible pain, but he's just unable to get up, and ambulance staff coming onto the pitch to stretcher him off. I think it was actually, he was standing next to Guendouzi. It was a pass from Gundogan which he intercepted, but it just smashed into his left toe, possibly his left ankle, and he's been down ever since, and he is being stretchered off. So Arsenal are going to be forced into their first of 5, of course, changes, one of the new rules for the Premier League, to help players get back into fitness, and of course to help with the busy schedule which will take place over the next 6 weeks. This gives me a chance to just say, if you are enjoying the stream and the commentary, make sure to subscribe and like the stream. We are planning on doing live streams of commentary for every game that won't be free to air on Sky Sports, starting with this one. So the early event at the Etihad is, unfortunately for Arsenal, an injury to Granit Xhaka, and it will be Ceballos coming on to replace him. Arsenal, the only team to have a chance in this game so far, through a long ball over the top by Leno, which went all the way through to Nketiah, who tried to chip Ederson, but it went over the bar. If you have any questions about the game or about the stream, don't be afraid to put it in the live chat. And after about a 3-minute delay since the Manchester City corner, or offside from that corner, we are back underway at the Etihad. And it's a long ball forward from Arsenal, and Ceballos picks it up. And now he's running in on goal, and he's found Saka in behind, and he did manage to take it past the Manchester City defender, who just seemed to barge him out the way last minute, and it in the end rolls towards Ederson. Manchester City have got it out quickly though. Here's Silva running down the left wing, trying to find Sterling in behind. Sterling might get to it, and it was Leno who came in. Sterling got a touch to take it past him. It was a tight angle, and in the end, I think it was Mustafi who just about got a foot in, and it will be another Manchester City corner, this time from the other side. So we just wait for the corner to be taken. And while we do, we can take you through the lineups, or the away lineup, which we never got a chance to at kickoff. It's Leno in goal for Arsenal. Bellerin, new signing Villa, Mustafi and Tierney, part of a back four. The Manchester City corner has been taken. It fell for Sterling at the back post, who volleyed it well wide of the post. It was Xhaka and Guendouzi in a deep role of midfield, but Ceballos has come on for the early injury of Xhaka. And then it's Saka, Willock and Nketiah just ahead of those midfielders, with Aubameyang up front. Although, as we look at it so far, Aubameyang seems to be on the left with Nketiah, the central striker. And we are now 9 minutes in, or 6 minutes in, to official play due to the injury from Xhaka, who was stretchered off. And it's Manchester City with the ball, with Edison inside their own penalty area. It's played down the right towards Kyle Walker. And again, Arsenal are pressing, but Manchester City haven't found it too difficult to get past them. And every time they have got past this Arsenal press, there has been an attack on for them. This time they did pass it out of play. And it will be an Arsenal throw by the halfway line down the left-hand side. You could say for Arsenal in this game, what a perfect time to play Manchester City. No game for 3 months, no real pre-season if you could call it, or mid-season friendlies. There was one for Arsenal which they lost to Brentford. So that just shows that anything can happen in these games. Because it's Manchester City on the ball, Arsenal sitting deep this time. Morris tries to play a ball towards Sterling, who won't reach it, and it will go out for a goal kick. May have been offside anyway. And we haven't seen too much of De Bruyne apart from the early free kick, which was tipped over the bar from Leno. He was the star of the show at the Emirates in a 3-0 win for Manchester City earlier on in the season. How much of an impact will he have today? As Arsenal comfortable playing it round the back with Guendouzi. As we speak, we are just having a few problems with our footage, which we'll just get back to in a few seconds' time. But so far, you couldn't tell the difference between who's played better between the two sides, Manchester City and Arsenal. It's Arsenal with the best chance through Nketiah. Manchester City had a free kick which was saved. One apiece in terms of chances, but it's Manchester City trying to bring it forward here with Mendy. The press from Arsenal has seemed to die down, but it's an enforced error. Despite Arsenal sitting deep from Manchester City, as it was Gundogan to give it away, Arsenal tried to break quickly with a long ball down the left towards Aubameyang, but it's just gone past him and out for a Manchester City throw down the right-hand side. Here's De Bruyne, who's won it back for City, and he's advancing through the middle, and he's tried to find Sterling in behind down the left. He's inside the penalty area. Got it on his right foot, tried to slide it with a low ball across. That was a big chance for Manchester City. Although he didn't beat the first man, and it was Saka back there for Arsenal to block the cross. But as soon as they get that space for De Bruyne to run through the middle, Arsenal in trouble, and he certainly picked the right pass there, finding Sterling, who just wasn't quite clinical enough. And that might be a big difference, not only fitness coming into this late part of the season, but of course who's sharpest, who's warmed up in terms of technical ability. And so far Arsenal seem to have been the better side, as they've got possession here with Ceballos. Down the right hand side is Nketiah. On his left foot trying to get a ball in towards Saka in the middle. And it was a big chance because he got in front of his marker, managed to get contact with the ball, but it wasn't a good contact and it went well wide in the end. But it's another chance gone for Arsenal. 2 early chances which they've managed to create against Manchester City. And this just shows that really anything could happen in this game, and that this really is a good opportunity for Arsenal to play Manchester City. City doing something unlike them and kicking it up long, and it's gone straight into the hands of Leno, and Arsenal will try and build from the back. Guendouzi, who did well to shimmy away from Gabriel Jesus, who brought him down for an Arsenal free kick. 13 minutes played here at the Etihad. Arsenal tried to take the free kick quickly, but Gabriel Jesus didn't let him by blocking it, but the referee doesn't take any further action on that. We'll be providing you with live commentary streams throughout the rest of the season and hopefully in towards next season. So make sure to subscribe with the notification bell if you want to see more. Ball looping in the air as the Arsenal centre-back Mustafi wins the header down the left towards Ceballos, but De Bruyne has managed to get there first and he touched it past Ceballos, but he might have just clipped him. Ceballos goes down and De Bruyne is not happy because he won the ball back down the right-hand side and it was a 3-on-2 in the end. He did get the ball, it's just whether De Bruyne's studs were up on Ceballos, he might have clipped him, but it is an Arsenal free kick and they might have just got away with one there. They've kicked it long across the pitch towards the right-hand side, where it's headed away by Mendy. Arsenal throw, and it's thrown backwards, and it's played backwards towards Villa, the new Arsenal centre-back, who it's interesting to see how he gets on. Unfortunately, we aren't able to show the game due to copyright. We will not only get the stream taken down, but the channel taken down as well, which is why we are providing live commentary for you. Arsenal are comfortable to pass it inside their own half, and they've broken past the Manchester City press and found Ceballos down the left-hand side. Here's Tierney. He's just slowed down the attack. And as we say that, our stream, just again cuts out slightly. So we'll be back in a few seconds, just where we left off. This shouldn't happen too often at all. Because when we get back to it, we will have Tierney on the ball. And that attack did end up with a cross in the box, which was a header over. If you just give us about 20 seconds just to get back on track. Sorry for these slight technical difficulties early on. Well, there were certainly bigger technical difficulties at the game earlier on today. Sheffield United were ruled out a goal. The ball went over the line from a free kick. The keeper caught it over the line. Goal line technology did not do anything and ruled it out, despite it officially going over the line. 15 minutes have gone, 16 minutes in fact now, as it's Villa on the ball for Arsenal. Ceballos. Again, possessions fairly even throughout this first half. Arsenal have certainly been better on the ball than Manchester City, which is not what we're used to seeing, of course. Manchester City not quite woken up yet. Arsenal have it inside their own half again as it goes back to Leno. Leno just taking his time on the ball, trying to pick an option. He's played it to the nearest player, Villa, who then plays it back to Leno. There's not much of a press for Manchester City. They're not sprinting at the Arsenal players, but they're not giving them much of an option within their own half. Arsenal just still taking their time inside their area. The passing combination is Leno to one of his centre-backs in Villa or Mustafi, and then straight back to Leno again. That's all that's happening. Manchester City not letting them do much else. So far, Arsenal doing a lot better than their start at the Emirates earlier on in the season, where after a couple of minutes they were behind through De Bruyne. They've lasted almost 20 so far here, as it's Manchester City on the ball now with their keeper, Ederson. He hits it long towards Kyle Walker, who controls it well inside the Arsenal half now. Although it was almost a careless mistake from Walker, he gave it straight to Aubameyang but was able to win it back quickly. Ceballos then slide tackled into him. It goes out of play for a Manchester City throw. But Arsenal are certainly in this game, and you could say certainly more in this game than they may have been if the game weren't to be postponed earlier on. When Manchester City are on the ball here, they have had a couple of chances so far. One from a free kick, one from a good move forward, which they couldn't get a shot away. But they found De Bruyne inside the area. He plays it back outside to Mahrez. The ball's down the right. Mahrez gets it on his left foot, finds De Bruyne. Back out to Mahrez. This is quicker from Manchester City. And it's Kyle Walker. Now down the left towards Laporte, who's high up. He finds Sterling further out wide. And then Mendy. Arsenal's happy to sit back when Manchester City do finally get control of possession. Here's Kyle Walker in a more central position. He almost did the same thing again there, kicking it straight into this time Nketiah. And he plays it to Laporte, who switches it out to Mahrez. Tierney comes quickly to get there, and he wins the header, and he's got possession now for Arsenal. Trying to turn backwards, he does, and then plays it back towards the centre-backs. And it's Villa on the ball to Ceballos, who tries to run out of trouble. Tries to clip a ball in behind towards Nketiah. And Arsenal, that's very quick for them to transition from possession inside their own half to try and find a ball in behind, which was just about cut out by the Manchester City defence. And it's back towards Ederson as there's nearly 20 minutes gone. And of course, with Manchester City possibly being banned for 2 years from the Champions League for financial fair play, it might give Arsenal some sort of hope of getting into the Champions League again. After a few years' absence, they are currently in 9th. The game in hand, if they win here, it will put them into 8th above their rivals Spurs. Although it's Kyle Walker who's run forward into the penalty area, cut it back towards Jesus, who had a free shot on goal, decided to dummy it. And there was no one there apart from an Arsenal defender. Big chance for Manchester City. Walker able to run straight through on goal. It was a perfect ball to Jesus, who had a shot on. And then he just dummied it, expecting someone behind him, but there was absolutely no one. Massive chance for Manchester City, wasted by Gabriel Jesus. And there's just another break in play. It's Villa, the Arsenal centre-back, who was just down for a second. He, unlike Xhaka earlier on, is able to get back up onto his feet. Just seeming in a bit of pain though, walking slowly. So it's an Arsenal free kick, which again won't be taken because Villa has gone back down. So after 20 minutes here, there could be 2 substitutions for Arsenal. Luckily there are 5 now for them, as he's gone down, and it's the medics who've come on to speak to him, and it's his ankle which is a problem, which seemed to be the same with Granit Xhaka when he came off for Ceballos, who has played well since coming on after about 9 minutes. This time it's David Luiz warming up, looking to get changed. And we'll wonder if we do see a second substitution here. So we'll tell you about the earlier game. It was 0-0 between Aston Villa and Sheffield United. As you see at the bottom of your screen, goal line technology incorrectly taking away a Sheffield United goal. It went past the line, the keeper caught it in towards the goal. The referee's watch vibrated for a goal during half time. Villa's still feeling his ankle, getting treatment as we speak. There's just over 20 minutes gone. If you're enjoying this stream, make sure to subscribe and turn the notification bell. We'll be doing many of these commentary streams for you whilst we can, as we're just taking back to a replay while we can of all the players kneeling after the whistle had gone for kickoff. It was about 10 seconds or so where all the players went onto one knee in respect for George Floyd and the campaign of Black Lives Matter, which of course all players throughout game week 1 of the return will wear on the back of their shirts as opposed to their names. We're still waiting for the game to get underway again. And we do have some certain people in the live chat who aren't fans of Tottenham. However, it does give me an opportunity to say that we will have live commentary of Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester United a big one for Champions League hopes. That will be Friday, the same time as this one at 8:15. Make sure to check in for that. And before that, the next game to be played is Southampton against Norwich, which everyone will be able to watch on TV. It is free to air on Sky. The game has got back underway here at the Etihad. Arsenal's free kick was played long to an offside Saka, who has played down the right so far here. It's Aubameyang on the left and then Nketiah through the middle. That's how Arsenal have set up. We haven't seen much of Willock so far, who's played in that cam role, but nothing's really happened through the middle for Arsenal in a higher up position. It's all come from out wide, and the attacks have really come from deep from the likes of Guendouzi and more Ceballos, who has had a good attacking influence since coming on. We're almost 25 minutes gone here at the Etihad, as Manchester City will have a free kick from the Saka offside. Of course, another big reason, apart from of course the 3-month break to football, why Arsenal might just be tipped to the possibility of winning here at the Etihad. Might just be because of Arteta coming back to Manchester City. Of course, he was their assistant manager before joining Arsenal earlier on in the season. Still waiting for that free kick to be taken. It's pouring down with rain in Manchester at the Etihad Stadium, and it's Manchester City in possession with Kyle Walker, who tries to play it long. It was blocked by the press of Aubameyang and out for a throw for Manchester City down the right. And again, we just have a few technical difficulties, which is preventing us from seeing the footage. We'll get back to you in a few seconds' time with what's going on in the game. And just a recap of what's happened so far. It was Arsenal with the first chance, a long ball towards Nketiah in behind. He chipped Ederson but got it over the bar. Manchester City had a free kick with Kevin De Bruyne, which was tipped over by Leno. Xhaka came off injured for Arsenal early on, along with new signing Villa. Both seem to be ankle or very lower toe ankle injuries. David Luiz has come on in place of Villa. Arsenal's last win away from home against a top 6 side was against Manchester City at the Etihad all the way back in 2015. And you would say they've certainly got a good opportunity to do it here, although it's Manchester City attacking with De Bruyne on the edge of the box. And then he's tried to play Mahrez down the right, and it's a good dummy from Tobias to win it back. And then he finds Tierney down the line, who's pressed by De Bruyne. He's given it away towards Kyle Walker. Tierney able to put a foot in to win it back, and then David Luiz is there to clear it. Manchester City on the ball again from their own half, out to Gundogan, who plays it down the left towards Mendy. Back towards Jesus in a deeper position. He finds Sterling, who tries to do a 1-2 with Jesus. Guendouzi won it back though, and then it's played back by Saka towards goalkeeper Leno, who has had a fair few touches with the ball so far, as we almost approach half an hour here at the Etihad. If you have any questions about the channel or the game so far, make sure to put it in the live chat. Kyle Walker with a throw for Manchester City as Leno's kick was straight out of play. Here's Mendy. Sterling running at the Arsenal defence, finding De Bruyne ahead of him. Sterling was tripped up just after he released the ball to De Bruyne. He's won Manchester City. In fact, he hasn't won Manchester City a free kick. He's not happy about that. Although what did happen was De Bruyne was tackled and it came off him last, and it is going to be an Arsenal goal kick. Almost half an hour gone at the Etihad. At this point, it was either 2 or 3-0 to Manchester City when we were at the Emirates earlier on in the season. Just once again trying to get our footage back of the game to let you all know what's happening. Whilst we do that, if you don't want to miss any of our streams for live commentary, then make sure to subscribe and put the notification bell on so you'll know when we'll stream and commentating. Our stream is back and we're just at the point where it is going to be the Arsenal goal kick. Almost half an hour gone. Hasn't been really any sort of chance in the last 10 minutes. There were a few earlier on in the game, as David Luiz plays it towards Guendouzi. And now a ball from Guendouzi out to the right, and it's played towards Saka. He plays it back towards Willock, and it's a rare touch for him. His cross into the box went towards no one apart from Kyle Walker, who chested it back to Edison, who's able to claim. So far we've had 90 minutes at Villa Park. We've had half an hour here, which means we've had 2 hours of Premier League football since the return, and yet to be a goal. Or yet to be an official goal. Of course, Sheffield United having one disallowed at Villa Park. We are having again a few problems. We're just going to take 30 seconds without footage. Just to make sure this doesn't happen again and get our viewing of the game back properly. So that we won't have any of these short breaks again. We're just going to take a slightly longer break to get our game back. Nil-nil, the score at the Etihad. Just as it was at Villa Park. But we do have our stream back, and it's with a Manchester City attack. Arsenal sitting deep. Manchester City moving it around with Gundogan, whose pass was intercepted well by Arsenal, who put on a bit of pressure. And it comes to David Luiz. Arsenal have been comfortable to play it out from the back so far. They haven't done a bad job at it, as they played it out towards Ceballos, who's been key so far, despite not starting and coming on for Xhaka early on. He's been key to transitioning from that possession between the back four onto an Arsenal attack. But he has ran forward away from David Luiz, who almost gave it away to De Bruyne. Ceballos did well to win it back, but Arsenal again can't find any gaps. And in the end, David Luiz plays it long up towards Nketiah, who did get there. He seemed to be pulled back by Laporte, but the referee waves it off. And now the ball's just bundling around the halfway line, and City get possession back, and it's gone to Mahrez, who's in a deep position. Here's De Bruyne for Manchester City, who have slowly come into this game more. It was Arsenal who made the more promising start. Possession stats are 60% to Manchester City, 40% to Arsenal. But Arsenal, whenever they do have possession, there is always something that comes out of it, whether it's a long ball that might just create an attack or a good passing move. They're certainly in this game, and they're not playing badly at all. Just looking back at that long ball towards Nketiah, who seemed to be getting pulled back by Garcia, who's come in at centre-back for Manchester City today. And maybe he just got away with one there, as Nketiah fell to the ground. Here is Garcia on the ball. He's tried to find De Bruyne, but he's been dispossessed, and it's Willock. Now Nketiah. There's options here for Arsenal, although Nketiah, his pass was just too short, and Manchester City win it back, and they look to move it forward. David Silva down the left-hand side for Sterling. Got it on his right foot. De Bruyne is in space here, but Sterling would take on the shot, and it's another save from Leno, his second of the game. Good move from Manchester City. They were countering Arsenal's counter-attack there. Sterling, as he always does, cuts in onto his right-hand side. Took a shot from the edge of the box, similar to the goal he scored against Spurs in the Champions League last season, earlier on at the Etihad. This time Leno was able to read it, get down low, tip it behind for a corner for Manchester City. 33 minutes gone. The previous corner from this side, they did a 1-2 in a short corner to De Bruyne, then to Mahrez, who was straight into an offside position. This time it's gone all the way back short to Kyle Walker, who's probably going to whip it in. He plays it to an onside Mahrez this time. Everyone back for Arsenal. Mahrez can't get a proper ball in as it's blocked by Saka. Comes out to Walker though. Now De Bruyne on the edge of the box. Back towards Gundogan. Down the right is Kyle Walker again. A fake shot as he turns away from Saka. Finds Silva. Sterling. Gundogan. Sterling. This is good from Manchester City. And it's flicked in behind towards David Silva, and that's an exceptional save from Leno. Manchester City, 2 chances in 2 minutes. Leno got down to both of them well. That one was really good. It was hit with power across goal from David Silva. He got down quickly there, Leno. But the attack is still just about alive for Manchester City. It's down the left for Mendy, who gets the ball in towards the back post. It's gone over everyone, but straight to Mahrez, down on the other side. Mahrez does well to try and get away from 2 Arsenal players, and in the end plays it back towards De Bruyne. And his long ball, which has given Laporte a bit of a chase, it was overhit, and it's maybe completely slowed down the Manchester City attack, and Arsenal can have a bit of a breather. De Bruyne. Back in the Arsenal half. They're sitting deep again, Arsenal. Kyle Walker back to Laporte. Now Garcia, the young centre-back for Manchester City. Mahrez. Back to Garcia. There's 10 minutes till half-time here. They've played it down the left towards Mendy in a bit of room. Again, it is quite deep for Manchester City, but he's tried to advance forward. Finds Jesus. A good flick from Jesus towards Gundogan, who just about gets his pass towards De Bruyne. Back out to the left. Raheem Sterling. Bellerin staying with him. Sterling gets on his right foot, plays it to De Bruyne, who tried to flick it on towards Gundogan. Arsenal intercept it, and they might have a break on themselves here with Tierney. And Aubameyang was making a run in behind down the middle, and he just took too long, Tierney, to pick him out. In the end, went for a different option with Nketiah, and then it was well read by Laporte, who headers it back to Ederson. But it's starting to get a bit end-to-end here. Manchester City now starting to have the better chances in the game. One thing I would say about David Luiz's performance so far, he hasn't made any mistake. He hasn't been on for too long, but he hasn't done anything wrong so far for Arsenal, playing in centre-back alongside Mustafi, who maybe some people would also see as a liability for Arsenal. Here's Mahrez for Manchester City, who are starting to dominate the possession as they normally do. They certainly started slow in this game, attackively and defensively, but they've seemed to woken up to it now, and it's Sterling again down the right-hand side, in towards David Silva, and he's just broken out for him again. He's inside the area, cuts it back to De Bruyne on the edge of the box. He finds Mahrez in behind, big chance Manchester City, and again it's Leno who came off his line quickly to make a big save for Arsenal. Certainly the man of the match player so far for them, as Manchester City are denied for the 3rd time in the last 5 minutes. But the attack won't end there because they're in possession. Everyone is well behind the halfway line for Arsenal. And City's still able to break through. Laporte. Arsenal, you would think now, would do well just to get it to half-time at 0-0, who haven't played too badly, but Manchester City are starting to warm up with a long ball forward, which is headed away by Tierney. And it's a throw down the right-hand side in an advanced position for Manchester City, which Mahrez will in the end give back to Kyle Walker, who throws it backwards towards Garcia. So Arsenal only with one real chance so far, with Nketiah's shot over the bar in the opening couple of minutes. But Arsenal are starting to struggle. They don't seem tired, but they are starting to really sit deep behind the ball. Their early pressure was causing Manchester City a few problems. But Man City really in the flow of things now. All they need is a goal. Here is De Bruyne. And if they can get the best out of him today, then Arsenal really will be in trouble. He hasn't done too much so far. That's a good ball out towards Kyle Walker down the right. Mahrez is further out wide. And now De Bruyne with a bit of room on the edge of the box, and he's found Sterling in behind. And Sterling chips it just over the bar. It was a clever effort, as again Leno was off his line quickly. But Sterling chips it over Leno and just over. Certainly a lot closer than the early chance, but just as I was saying, De Bruyne hasn't done too much. He picked a beautiful pass in behind towards Sterling, who beat Leno, but certainly beat the crossbar. Over the bar it goes. So a goal kick for Arsenal, and it's a chance for a breather, a chance for possession for them. And again, they play it out short, which they've done so throughout the whole game so far, and haven't done a bad job of it. And they'll be happy to have the ball because it was a long spell without it, and there were chances for Manchester City within that spell where Leno made a few fantastic saves to keep this one at 0-0. Arsenal trying to play it out the back, and there was a looping ball towards Ceballos still inside the Arsenal half where he was taken out by Gundogan. Ceballos not happy because his studs were certainly up at him there as he went down. There's a couple challenges on Ceballos within that position. So an Arsenal free kick within their own half, but this is certainly what they want Arsenal, to slow the game back down again, because as it did speed up, there was one chance for Arsenal within the move, but there was a few chances for Manchester City as they started to dominate. Leno, as Arsenal have possession again. If they are to get a win here today, they move above Spurs in the Premier League table into 8th. And then they'll move 6 points off top 4 Chelsea, or 4 points off top 5 United. And of course, top 5 this season might just get you into the Champions League next year with the 2-year or the possible 2-year Manchester City ban. If that weren't to happen, I'm sure Manchester City will be finishing in the top 4. As Arsenal end their spell playing it across the back with a long ball forward from Leno to the offside Saka. We're just going to look at a few of these chances. First of all, a ball in towards David Silva, which Leno got down very quickly too. That was probably the best save of the bunch. Another one, Sterling cut onto his right foot and then shot it across goal, which was parried behind for a corner. A clip ball from De Bruyne towards Mahrez. Leno was off his line quickly for that to steer it behind. And then the final save, the final chance of Manchester City within that move was Sterling's chip, which went over the bar. They've had 7 attempts, Manchester City, 4 on target. Arsenal, 2 attempts, none on target. But there was a good chance in there early on. Ederson on the ball for Manchester City. Arsenal are starting to press again. They've got 3 players in the Manchester City penalty area. Tierney tried to win the header, which he didn't, but Kyle Walker actually fouled him. It was the ball from a pressured Ederson out towards Kyle Walker, who tried to win the header. In the end, turned his back on Tierney, who was also going for the same ball, and he was brought down, and it's an Arsenal free kick. And with just 3 minutes plus what will probably be a lengthy stoppage time at the end of the first half, Arsenal have a free kick and a good chance to get the ball into the box. We were just saying how they've only had 2 chances in this game, none of those on target. Ceballos and I believe Saka are standing over the free kick down the left-hand side. Certainly not a shooting position, but there will be a chance to get the ball in the box. Likes of Aubameyang's there. The likes of David Luiz are up there as well for Arsenal. It's left by Ceballos. It's in by Saka, and it's gone past everyone. It was a sliding challenge from Mustafi, which he couldn't quite reach, and in the end it goes back towards a goal kick. Don't forget to join us for our live commentary streams across this 6-week period where the Premier League will be back to conclude the 2019-20 season. Our next one will be Spurs against Manchester United in a couple of days' time. City have won it back here, inside the Arsenal half. It was Sterling who won it back. It was a poor pass, but it was just deflected off the Arsenal man towards Silva, who couldn't quite get a breakaway. And in the end, it was a long ball forward from Manchester City, which is headed away by David Luiz. And Guendouzi, who then picked it up from there, was fouled. Just responding to the live chat, unfortunately we're unable to actually show the match due to copyright. Not only will the stream be taken down, but the whole channel will be taken down. Which is why we are giving you live commentary of it. And it's Arsenal on possession, and surprise, surprise, it's something we've seen a lot. They're passing it through their defence with Leno out towards David Luiz. Ceballos. Guendouzi, and then back to Leno again. Again, there's no press from Manchester City, but they're very high up the field, which a few times has left Arsenal with an option to play it upfield and give a sort of attack a chance. They tried to do that then, but City intercept. And it's come back to Guendouzi. He's just taken a bit too long on the ball, and Manchester City had a chance to counter there, but it was a misplaced pass. They have retained possession, but inside their own half, Manchester City with Laporte, who Manchester City are happy to have back, who was injured for a lengthy part of the season. We're 30 minutes away from half-time, but there will be a lot of stoppage time in this one. Due to the Xhaka injury, he had to come off for Arsenal and replaced by Ceballos, and Villa came off not long after David Luiz came on to replace him. Manchester City are going to have a free kick. Gabriel Jesus was brought down by Mustafi. We're about to see how much time is going to be added on at the end of what's been an exciting first half. There's been chances, certainly for Manchester City. All we're missing, just like at Villa Park, is a goal. City take the free kick short. And it was played towards Kyle Walker, and then in the end he's tackled. It came off him for a goal kick. So there's 3 minutes of this first half to go. And just the cameras are on the referee here. There might just be something happening. I think the free kick's actually going to be retaken. The referee wasn't ready for that short free kick. De Bruyne lining it up, so too Mahrez. It's in a slightly central position, more towards the right-hand side. Crossing position. In by Kevin De Bruyne, headed away comfortably from Aubameyang, but comes out towards Gundogan. Good ball out to the left-hand side for Sterling, who's numbered there. And he's forced to play it back again, but he's just got away with one as it was Ceballos with the pressure, and he kept on pressuring Mendy, who managed to get it through his legs. So City retain possession, which they've done well so far, apart from a few early hiccups where they weren't quite good on the ball. De Bruyne has tried to play one in behind towards Sterling, and David Luiz has made a mistake. It's a chance for Sterling, and he volleys it in, and there is the opener in stoppage time at the end of the first half. It's a goal for Manchester City. It was a long ball forward from De Bruyne, and it's the substitute David Luiz who should have intercepted it. It was along the ground. There was a bit of a bubble. David Luiz touched it, couldn't control it. It presented a perfect opportunity for Sterling, who smashed it in from the right-hand side across goal. No chance for Leno, and it's Manchester City who lead. And Arsenal, who have defended so well, including their goalkeeper, who has had to make a few saves, but it's David Luiz with the early mistake, or the late mistake, which has cost Arsenal at the end of the half. And they were doing so well to get to half-time at 0-0. But that will certainly change things for the second half. There's a minute to go in this first half, as we will get the screen updated for you as quickly as we can. But City do have one last possible attack. Well, no, they've gone backwards with it, and maybe they'll be happy to see it out at 1-0, which Arsenal should have done at 0-0, but they couldn't. So it's 1-0 Manchester City. They've played it forward towards Jesus. Sterling trying to chase it. Couldn't get to it, and then it's cleared away. And Nketiah trying to chase. Gundogan takes it down. And it's a shame for Arsenal because they haven't played too badly, considering it's against a good Manchester City side. They have survived well. And in the end, David Luiz, trying to make up for his mistake, shoves Gundogan around the halfway line. Manchester City can have a free kick. 3 minutes are up at the end of the first half. But I'm sure after this free kick, the whistle will go. As it's played long into the hands of Leno, who rolls it out to the back. And there is the half-time whistle. Arsenal haven't been too bad. Manchester City have been the better side, which would have been expected. They were slow starting. Arsenal with the first chance of the game. And Nketiah's chip over Ederson also went over the bar. Another early chance for De Bruyne was tipped over by Leno. He's made 4 or 5 good saves in the first half. Arsenal have been forced into 2 substitutions with Villa and Xhaka coming off to injury. Ceballos and David Luiz have replaced them. And then the goal came in stoppage time, 2 minutes into stoppage time, and a mistake from that substitute David Luiz, which allowed Sterling in behind on the half volley. It was bouncing, it was perfect for him to smash it in towards the top corner across goal, beating Leno that time. And it's the half-time score at the Etihad. Manchester City 1, Arsenal 0. We'll be back for the second half. Don't go anywhere. So, welcome back to our live commentary of Manchester City against Arsenal. Thank you for everyone who's waited throughout half-time for the return of the commentary. Manchester City was certainly the better side in that first half. It took them a while to get warmed up. Then they had about 5 chances in a matter of 7 or 8 minutes, all saved from Leno, until finally the deadlock was broken for the first goal in 3 months or 100 days in the Premier League. And it was Raheem Sterling who volleyed in from the David Luiz mistake. He had to come on early on in the game along with Ceballos for the injured Xhaka and Villa. But we are underway for the second half here at the Etihad. It was City to get us underway. And City who will win an early throw-on down the right-hand side. We'll take you through the lineup, starting off with the home side, Manchester City. Ederson in goal, a back four of Walker, youngster Garcia, Laporte and Mendy. David Silva, Gundogan and De Bruyne are in the middle. Mahrez, Jesus and Sterling are the front three. For Arsenal, Leno in goal, a back four of Tierney, Mustafi, Luiz, who had to come on in the first half, and Bellerin. Ceballos replaced Xhaka early on as well, and he plays alongside Guendouzi in the deep midfield position. Aubameyang, who's played on the left in the first half, Willock through the middle, and Saka down the right, and it's Nketiah who's played up front for Arsenal. City have possession inside their own half. They've tried to play it long, and Arsenal have won the header, but only out for a Manchester City throw down the left-hand side. Just as we start the second half, a quick chance for me to say, or to ask if you are enjoying the stream, to give it a like and subscribe for more streams across this 6-week Premier League period, plus next season. For the games for next season that won't be on TV, and for this season the games that aren't free to watch, we will be giving you live commentary for them. And also turn the notification bell on to never miss one of our streams. But we are a minute and a half into the second half, and it's Ederson on the ball for Manchester City. He's played a ball in behind. Sterling's in again here. He just... Well, in fact, it was Leno who quickly came off his line to intercept as soon as he took his first touch. Arsenal, well, by the looks of it, it's the same as the first half. They're passing it across the back. And it's back to Leno again. This time it's a chip ball, and it's straight off for a Manchester City throw down the right. It was a poor ball straight out of play. And City are quick to get on with it, and it's Gundogan who turns past Aubameyang, back to Mahrez, back to Gundogan through the middle. Arsenal sitting deep again, just as they were towards the end of the first half when Manchester City really started to create. Although they have won it back well, and it was Nketiah who won it back well. He's had a couple of chances, the only 2 chances for Arsenal in the first half. He's played it to Saka down the right, taking on Mendy, trying to find Aubameyang or Willock, I believe, sorry. And then Manchester City clear, only as far as Bellerin, but his touch lets him down, and Sterling wins it back for City. Sterling driving forward through the middle. Bellerin, of all people, can't keep up with him. Plays it down the right-hand side. Here's De Bruyne advancing in towards the penalty area, trying to get a shot away, and then it was blocked by Tierney. Only as far as Mahrez, though. And now Mendy. Laporte. Back out to Garcia, who's had a good game so far for Manchester City, the youngster. Mahrez from a deeper position. One thing I would say, we haven't seen much of Gabriel Jesus in this game. He gets the nod over Sergio Aguero. Arsenal certainly in it at 1-0. It could have been 0-0 if it weren't for the late David Luiz mistake at the end of the first half. If you have any questions about the game or the channel, please let us know in the live chat. So far I've seen a mixture of Arsenal and Manchester City fans. But Manchester City fans are happy, and they might get even happier because it's Mahrez in behind. He got past David Luiz. It was a ball from the right-hand side, and it's another mistake by David Luiz because he's brought Mahrez down, and it's a Manchester City penalty. VAR, of course, are going to have a look. I believe David Luiz was given a yellow, but I just missed that. It was a ball towards Mahrez. His touch took him past David Luiz. He's pulled him back. It's not blatant. I've got a better angle of it here. Whether he's grabbed his shirt, whether a little nudge, a little... He was just on him for too long. And in fact, it was a red card for David Luiz. So Arsenal in big trouble. And it's all down to that man. There were certainly questions if players will be rusty. He certainly has been so far because he's been sent off. He didn't even start this game. And now he won't finish it. And it's a penalty for Manchester City. And it's De Bruyne stepping up. They've had their penalty issues, Manchester City, so far. But it's De Bruyne from the spot against Leno. 5 minutes into the second half. A chance to double their lead. And De Bruyne slots it in, and it's 2-0 Manchester City here. Sent Leno the wrong way, placed it down the right-hand side. Leno went left. And it's 2-0 City, and maybe that is too much for Arsenal now because they're down to 10 men as well. 2 big errors from David Luiz have cost Arsenal this game. And now they'll have to play it down to 10 men. And there were a lot of interesting things for this game. Would Arteta get the better of Pep Guardiola knowing Manchester City will? Well, will the 3-month gap in Premier League football affect Manchester City more than Arsenal? Well, not really here because Arsenal have fallen apart already early on in the second half. City scored late in the first and early in the second. And it's 2-0. And Arsenal still tossing around the back and they're being pressed here. And there was a free kick. Sterling flew into a challenge on Mustafi. Maybe he could be in a bit of trouble. We'll keep you updated on that, though. I'm sure there might be a VAR check. It didn't look too bad. He's gone flying into him. But we'll take a look and keep you updated as we just update the score screen for you. It didn't look too bad from Sterling. Whether he might get a yellow card for that. But certainly no chance of a red. We are just updating the score for you, which is why you can't see it at the moment. But we do have a chance to do that because Mustafi is on the floor injured. It might be Arsenal might have to be forced into another substitution. They've already been forced into 2. Luckily, there are 5 as the Premier League season goes on. We are just going to take a minute just to update the scoreboard for you while we're waiting for play to resume. It was all from a long ball from Edison, the goal. Played down the right, the header was won by Walker, and then it was Mahrez with a good touch in front of David Luiz who brought him down, and resultingly in a red card. So we're just going to wait as Arteta's just waiting on the touchline to see if he's going to have to make a third substitution. So we're 53 minutes in here. There will be more stoppage time because of the injury. And now we will get back into the second half as Leno kicks it long for Arsenal. There's the screen sorted out for you and we'll be able to commentate properly. Gundogan for Manchester City. They've got possession inside their own half. Unfortunately, it does look like this game is over after just 53 minutes. And it's one player for Arsenal who haven't been at their best. It hasn't been terrible, but there's one man who has cost them today, and that's David Luiz. A big mistake in the first half, a penalty given away in the second, which followed a red card. He was substituted on early on for the injured Villa. And now it's Manchester City bossing the ball here, which I started to do in the first half. I wonder how much more they'll do it now that Arsenal are down to 10 men and they have the extra man. Sterling's come through the middle here. Walker's down the right. Sterling hangs onto it, plays it to De Bruyne. Back out to Kyle Walker. Low driven ball in. Tierney kicks it away for a Manchester City throw down the right. One thing I would say about this game is the only player who really to get involved is Nketiah through the middle. Haven't seen much of Aubameyang. Have hardly seen anything at all from Willock, who's on the ball here, but he's been tackled straight away by Gundogan. A really good challenge from the Manchester City player. Arsenal haven't been at their best, but Manchester City have been very good today. And it should be an easy, 35 minutes for them, despite only being 2 goals up. It's a long way back for Arsenal. And the question is really for them, do they go for it with it being highly unlikely for them to get anything out of this game, or do they keep on sitting back and just hope to make this embarrassing, which Manchester City, of course, are very capable of. And they've got it on the attack again, inside the Arsenal half again. Every player inside the Arsenal half, which is what it's going to have to be. Mendy down the left. Bellerin trying to stick with him, and Mendy gave the ball away. And Arsenal do have possession, but they're being pressed. Although it's broken for Saka, they've done well to find it, but he's isolated completely, Saka, and then in the end Mendy wins it back. And it actually came off Mendy, and it will be an Arsenal throw. But that will be a chance for a breather. The ball's up the pitch for Arsenal, and they might just be able to get a bit of possession going to slow things down again, because again Manchester City are dominating. They've got all the ball in the Arsenal half. And Arsenal do have the ball now, but also in their own half. And it's Leno on the ball. And one difference I do see between the first and second half for Manchester City is that Man City are pressing. They had numbers forward, which stopped Arsenal from doing anything with the ball in the first half. But now they're pressing at the keeper. They're not giving him any time, as Arsenal do actually win it back here. Aubameyang. Short pass, which Sabas just is able to pick up, and now he's on the ball down the left. Here is Aubameyang again. Good ball in towards Nketiah inside the area, but he couldn't get his pass right to find Aubameyang, and it's broken out to De Bruyne, who's called to just slow things down, slow the attack down as he plays it back to Mendy, and Manchester City are going to move it around here. Well, a question for one of the people in the live chat, Carlos Brown, who doesn't seem to be a fan of Guendouzi or Willock at all. Of course, they're both young players. Is it worth giving them time? Especially Guendouzi, who I'd say is the better one of the two. Or do you just not want to see them in there at all? But Manchester City are in possession again down the left with Mendy. Back to him again as he does a 1-2 with Gundogan, and City are just in control completely here. There's nothing Arsenal can really do. It was difficult enough for them with 11 men towards the end of the first half, but David Luiz has thrown this game away at the beginning of the second. Sterling. And one good thing certainly for Manchester City is that with a busy schedule ahead for all Premier League teams, they'll certainly just have to just casually keep possession. Not too much running, not too much hard work. Although they are still trying to find the ball forward, and they've found Gabriel Jesus, who pings it down the right-hand side for De Bruyne. De Bruyne's got a chance to get a ball in. He's fake-shotted, tried to find Mahrez with a low ball, and it was cleared away only as far as Kyle Walker. And then Gabriel Jesus will have a strike, but it's too close to Leno. Straight at him, and he catches. I believe Manchester City are yet to make a substitution in this one. Arsenal have made 2, both from injuries. Long ball forward from Leno. Manchester City win the header, but they were Nketiah, was offside anyway. And just as we wait for the free kick to be taken, if you're enjoying the stream and the commentary, make sure to leave a like on the stream. It will be much appreciated. And if you do want to subscribe, that would be fantastic as well, with a notification bell on, so you don't miss another one of our streams, which we'll be doing regularly through the next 6 weeks, whilst the Premier League does return to finish the 2019-2020 season. And we have found our first 2 goals since the return, both for Manchester City, and they're looking to add a third here, and they just had a A lot of men forward, not many back for Arsenal. An attack on there, but Sterling tried to play a pass. There was 3 options he had, all 3 close to each other. In the end, he played it in the middle of all of them. And then an Arsenal player, I think it was Ceballos, was able to pick it up. Arsenal on the ball. Ceballos, it was a loose pass though, and it's straight out to Mahrez. De Bruyne through the middle. He's got options with Jesus and Sterling. De Bruyne takes it past one. Finds Sterling down the left. He's got to get a ball in. Well, he's tripped over it, in fact. And it's bumbled over for a goal kick. And one of those end of season bloopers you do see. Certainly from Sky Sports, you see a video. That might just be in it with a trip over from Sterling, who was unable to get his ball in. And you also saw a little laugh from Leroy Sané, who of course is back from the long-term injury. He's warming up on the bench. There's half an hour to go here at the Etihad. The red card and the second goal was in the 50th minute. It was David Luiz sent off. And Arsenal, 2 big errors from David Luiz, and a big error as a team to let it go at the end of the first half. 0-0 would have been a good result because City were starting to put on the pressure at the end of the half. But they let it go right at the last with Raheem Sterling's goal. I'm sure with him scoring that goal, that trip over the ball will certainly be forgotten very quickly. Something that has gone very quickly for Arsenal is possession again from their goal kick, as it's City who have it back, and it's Kyle Walker. Out to Mahrez. Saka trying to stay with him. Mahrez finds Jesus. And Jesus looks to get a shot away. Feints back towards the left. And then plays it back towards De Bruyne. They're moving it around quickly, Manchester City again, which we haven't done too much in the second half. They've been happy just to keep control of the ball. They've got it out to Sterling down the right. Here's Mendy. De Bruyne, and then back to Sterling. It was just an overhit pass, but Mendy manages to retain it. Again, Arsenal sitting back. It's all they can really do, to be honest. It's going to be a tough 30 minutes for them to conclude their return to the Premier League. They were unbeaten in 8 before the break, but on the opening nights, which was expected to many people, they are going to fall to defeat to Manchester City. As City, they're moving it around the whole pitch and they're getting Ederson involved, who's almost by the halfway line here. Something we are used to seeing from the Manchester City goalkeeper. And he's on the ball again. Plays it out to Laporte. Back to Ederson again. One thing I would say for Arsenal, despite being down to 10 men, it's a better scoreline than what it was at the Emirates earlier on this season. De Bruyne was the star of the show there. He has got 1 goal today, as well as an assist, and he's played a beautiful outside of the foot, right-footed pass, trying to find Sterling in behind, just too close to Leno. But the technique was absolutely superb. Saka tried to get in front of Jesus, who caught up with him well, and then Saka gives him a shove over, and Manchester City will get a free kick. And they've taken it quickly and short out to Laporte. At the moment, it's just a case of how many for Manchester City, and it's a case of, do they want to go for it? Do they want to get more? Do they want to save their energy for what's going to be a very, very busy schedule? Not just for them, but for every Premier League club. But more so for them, they have them and Arsenal, along with the earlier game with with Aston Villa and Sheffield United. They will have 1 more game than every other team since the return. Manchester City have broken out. They've broken the Arsenal press. And it's a good ball from Silva in behind towards Mahrez, who tries to slide it towards the back post. Leno came off his line quickly to claim. And he rolls it out quickly. It's Ceballos on the ball for Arsenal. Plays it back to Mustafi. Bellerin down the right. And then back towards Mustafi again. But Arsenal have the possession, and they're moving it into the Manchester City half. Ball attempted down the left-hand side towards Aubameyang. Walker intercepted. Got a sliding challenge away, out for a throw. And there's going to be 2 changes for Manchester City to level up with Arsenal. In that sense, it's Bernardo Silva who's going to come on, as well as Phil Foden. And we'll keep you updated on who comes off. I believe it's David Silva coming off. Oh no, it's David Silva's coming off for Bernardo Silva. And Foden is coming on for Mahrez. So 2 changes each. Manchester City out of choice. Arsenal, they've been forced into there too with injuries. And one of those substitutes is no longer on the field in the name of David Luiz. But of course, that's 2 of 5 possible substitutions that Manchester City can make. Same too with Arsenal. As to help these sides get through a busy schedule and also help with the return to fitness for all these players. It's been a long time without football. Longer, of course, than what a transition between 2 seasons would usually be. So Arsenal with the throw on, which they've thrown it out well to Nketiah, played back towards Guendouzi. Bellerin. They are still in the Manchester City half, although I say that it's played back towards Mustafi. Tierney has just seemed to drop into a centre-back position. Arsenal have almost got into a back 3 with Bellerin down the right of the back 3, Mustafi in the centre, Tierney down the right, but Mustafi, he almost gave it away inside his own half. Guendouzi just about picked it up. That would have been trouble for Arsenal, but in the end they might have an attack going here with Saka. Willock, who has been quiet today for Arsenal, finds Saka down the left, Aubameyang's ahead of him. Back out to Saka, Willock on the edge of the box, turns on his left foot, down the left, inside the penalty area, clips one in towards the back post. It's gone over everyone. It will be a goal kick, and that's the best move that Arsenal have had. But Arsenal are actually going to make their last 3 substitutions. And we'll just keep you updated on who's coming on. Lacazette is one of them, I can confirm. The other 2 I'm not quite sure. Maitland-Niles also coming on. We'll just keep you updated on who's coming off for Arsenal as we see. I believe Willock, who has, I've said multiple times, had a quiet game, he's also going to be coming off. So it's Nketiah, Guendouzi and Willock coming off. Lacazette, Maitland-Niles and Nelson coming on. Which might just give a sign that Arsenal might try any sort of thing they can to go for it. They've now got 2 of their main strikers on the pitch. And I just want to thank someone in there for just helping me on my error that it is 2-0 and not 1-0. I did forget to update that on the scoreboard. Ball down the left-hand side towards Phil Foden. His first touch of the game since coming on. He's running inside with it. Finds De Bruyne. Didn't have a lot of room, but managed to keep the ball. Thank you to Ella Shaw just for letting me know there. And thank you for everyone who's watching the stream as well. Aubameyang's won it back here for Arsenal. Tried to break away, but Mendy stole it off of him. And City have possession back again. Laporte on the ball, inside their own half. They've moved it into the attacking half for Phil Foden, who's playing down the left-hand side. A left wing role. Here's Gundogan, who stole it away from an Arsenal man. He's chipped it down the right-hand side for Sterling. He's moved down the right, played in towards De Bruyne. And there's a shot. It's the first shot since the red card for Arsenal. And it's from De Bruyne, and Leno got down quickly. It was straight at him, but he tips it behind for a corner. Good little flick on from Sterling. He was assisted by De Bruyne for the first goal. Sterling trying to return the favour. And there's just over 20 minutes to go here at the Etihad. 2-0 the score. 2 big errors from David Luiz leading to the goals. And only 2 attempts for Arsenal in this game. None of them on target. One of them was close with Nketiah. That was in the opening couple of minutes. So Manchester City did start slowly in this game. But here's a substitution which might just bring a bit of joy to Arsenal. A Manchester City substitution there. Third, as Fernandinho comes on. I believe that's actually for Laporte, and also Rodri is coming on for De Bruyne. And here is Rodri. Out to Mendy on the left. Chips it down the right towards Kyle Walker, who will take it down. And then he tries to find Sterling, who's just about able to keep it. And then there's a chip ball towards Sterling, who's in behind again. Tried to cut it back. He's just about kept it in play down by the goal line. Back out to Bernardo Silva, and City just about keeping in play. But there was an attack going there for a second. Mendy, down the left. And then played out to Fernandinho, who seems to be in centre-back position, which he has played a lot more this season, mainly due to the Laporte injury, and it's him who he's replaced in this one. Manchester City have used 4 substitutions. Arsenal have used all 5 now. We've yet to see what those changes are really to do in the complex of this game. Because Manchester City, it's been all them again. As Phil Foden, tried to get a ball in. It's gone over everyone. Out to Sterling down the right. Ceballos, Bernardo Silva trying to find Rodri. Can he keep it in play to get the cross in? He did, and it's bubbling around inside the area. But in the end, it comes to Ceballos, who's able to get it away. And he's able to try to pass it away to Aubameyang, who can't get to it. And he, along with a lot of Arsenal players, are looking very frustrated out there. City come again forward. Foden down the left again, trying to find Jesus in the middle. He did that. Here's Rodri. Back down the left. This time it's Bernardo Silva. Foden back out to Silva. Just slightly misplaced pass from Phil Foden, which has just slowed it down and forced Manchester City backwards again. If you have any questions about the game or about the channel, don't be afraid to ask in the live chat. Thank you for everyone who is watching so far. In a game that is pretty much finished. It's a matter of how many for Manchester City. You'd think with just under 20 minutes to go. Well, so far in the opening 2 games, it looks like neither home team are going to lose. There was a question about the home advantage. And just want to thank the comments for a few good comments in the live chat. I really do appreciate it. Trying to give you live streams for the people who are unable to watch it on TV, just to know what's going on in the games. Every game that won't be on TV, we will try to stream for you. So if you just want to subscribe, turn the notification bell so you don't miss a stream, that would be much appreciated. But I really do appreciate the views and the comments and how many of you are watching. It's been absolutely fantastic. But there is just under 20 minutes to go here. And there is going to be a water break, which is something that's happening once every half, very possibly throughout the 6 weeks. Of course, it is currently June, which is when the Premier League isn't usually being played due to it being the summer. It's a lot hotter than it would be, certainly towards the end of the season in May. Just looking back at the goals, it was a low sort of ball in behind, a curling ball in behind towards Sterling, which David Luiz should have got to. It deflected off of him, straight into Sterling, who smashed it in. And then another mistake early in the second half. Morez found himself in behind, pulled back by David Luiz. Penalty Manchester City, a red card for David Luiz. And that's been the story of the game. And it's Manchester City who have dominated this second half, as we're just taking a break, or the break in play, a water break for both teams as they're getting back out onto the pitch now. We're yet to see anything from Lacazette, who's come on not long ago. It's been difficult for Arsenal really to get it forward at all and get any sort of possession, even in their own half, which is what they were doing a lot of the first half when they did have the ball. So we're going to resume with a Manchester City throw on. There's 74 minutes gone in this game. It's Kyle Walker to take it inside the Manchester City half down the right hand side. Here's Fernandinho, who's playing alongside Garcia, the youngster in centre back, who's had a fantastic performance. He hasn't had much to do, But he has played well for Manchester City. Rodri, back to Fernandinho. Arsenal starting to press here. Although it's very comfortably broken and it's out to Kyle Walker, who's got the right hand side to run down. Ceballos covered that space quickly and it's played back to Sterling and then back to Garcia again, and that Arsenal press, which only lasted a matter of seconds, has died down. Silva, who replaced David Silva. This one's Bernardo Silva. Rodri. There's only been one chance, apart from the penalty, for Manchester City in the second half. Considering they've played pretty much all of it, apart from the opening 5 minutes, with a man above Arsenal. Hasn't been too much, but they've been in control of possession, haven't allowed Arsenal any shot in this second half, and only 2 shots throughout the whole game. None of those which were on target. Bernardo Silva for Manchester City. Back across the field towards Garcia. Rodri. Fernandinho. Rodri sitting very deep. It's almost like a back three for Manchester City. He's switching with Fernandinho as it's his turn to move forward out of centre-back. And then he played it towards, I believe, Gabriel Jesus. He was taken out by Tierney, who's going to get booked, and it's going to be a Manchester City free kick. It was actually Gundogan who was taken out. It was a weak pass from Fernandinho, which is why Tierney went into it to the challenge, but it was just a stretching leg from Gundogan, which got to the ball first, and then Tierney took him out after that. So Manchester City free kick. It's fairly central. It's quite far out. It's Sterling who's on the ball, rolling up his socks. It looks like he might be taking a shot, and it is quite far out. But at 2-0, with Arsenal down to 10 men, you might as well have a go. It's a long run up, which he's going to take. He scored one today from very close range. How about this from far out? Leno to beat, who's had a fantastic performance. Oh wow, it's played out short. It's a very clever routine. Out to Rodri, who got his shot away. It was a tame effort, too close to Leno, who makes another save. And then it's steered behind from a corner. Well, Sterling, it looked certain he was going to shoot. But there was no one on Rodri down the right. He had a clear shot. And he should have done better with it, really. And Manchester City take the corner short, which is something they've done all evening. Foden trying to get a ball in towards the back post. Over everyone towards Bernardo Silva. Although Bellerin got a touchdown there before. It's come out to Sterling. Rodri out to Bernardo Silva, this time down the left. He's got Bellerin with him, but he plays it inside to Rodri again. And they're just moving it side to side. It's been the story of this second half for Manchester City. Foden trying to run in towards the penalty area. He's lost out to Ceballos. And Arsenal do have possession by the corner flag. It's Aubameyang who has been forced to play that deep. He's been down the left throughout the whole game. Here's Lacazette, who's been in the centre since coming on. He has given it away with a rare touch. Although he was just fouled though by Rodri, and Arsenal will have a free kick. Just going to take a look at that Manchester City free kick again. So clever from Sterling, who lined up his run-up like he was going to shoot. And then Rodri was in space. It's poor from Arsenal not to pick him out, because it was a clear chance for Rodri there, which he should have done more with to make it 3-0 Manchester City. The free kick has been taken by Arsenal. And in the end it's come out for an Arsenal throw down the left inside their own half, and they're struggling to take that, as Manchester City aren't giving them an option at all. And he's thrown it straight out to, I believe, Mahrez. Here's Gundogan. Oh, and he tried to tee up Rodri on the edge of the box, and it was intercepted by Ceballos, who was then taken out by Rodri, and he's going to get a yellow card. Well, we've had our first goal in this game. Since the return in this game, as well as the first red card since the Premier League return in this game. As it's been 100 days since Leicester beat Aston Villa 4-0. That was the last game before the Premier League had to be postponed. There were no goals earlier on, but as you can see at the bottom of your screen, goal line technology ruling out or not giving what was a fair goal from Sheffield United. It went past the line, the keeper caught it, ran into his own net, or fell into his own net. It was close, but it was confirmed that the ball did pass the line. and goal line technology got it wrong. In fact, we are hearing the referee's watch vibrated during half time. So obviously that goal wasn't given, and Sheffield United will certainly feel that 3 points has been stolen off them. Arsenal have a chance here, because there was a long ball forward which Ederson came out to get. He headed it away and it came out towards Saka, who had it was almost an open goal. Ederson running back, there was a player on the line, he did shoot it wide. But when Ederson came out to win the diving header, he did take out one of the Manchester City players, and the medics are straight on to run onto the pitch. There's been 2 injuries so far today. Might actually be 2 players down here. Ederson, who's certainly not shy of running off his line. He was a culprit of doing that in the Manchester derby before the postponement of the Premier League. And I think he might have just taken out 2 players here. Don't have the best view of what's happened. I can't see who it is. Certainly one of them is one of his Manchester City defenders. There's someone else on the floor, I think. But we'll keep you updated on that. But we'll tell you what's happened so far today in this game. As the first chance came after 2 minutes for Arsenal. A good ball in behind from the goalkeeper Leno. It evaded all of the Manchester City defence. But then Nketiah chipped it over Ederson, over the bar. That was the best chance and the only real chance Arsenal have had. And Manchester City eventually, after about half an hour, started to wake up into the game. And they had chance after chance. Then they're making save after save. About 5 saves in that first half. Arsenal were very happy going into half-time at 0-0 until a David Luiz mistake right on the edge of the end of the first half. A ball in behind from De Bruyne. He should have just intercepted it, but in the end it ricocheted off him straight into Sterling, who smashed it past Leno across goal from the right-hand side into the top corner. And then David Luiz, culprit of a second Manchester City goal, as he gave away a penalty. He rushed out to chase Mahrez, who touched it past him. He then pulled him back. Mahrez went down. Not just the penalty, but a red card for David Luiz, who was substituted on to replace Villa after an early injury. Ceballos also came on due to an injury as he replaced Xhaka. That was after just 9 minutes. But going back to the penalty, it was scored by Kevin De Bruyne. Manchester City have dominated possession since. But they haven't had too many chances. They had the one from the short free kick from Rodri. And then De Bruyne had a chance also around the 70th minute. But we're at the 82nd minute now. There will be again a lengthy bit of stoppage time, because there is a Manchester City player down. And I think it might be Garcia, the young centre-back, who was taken out by his goalkeeper. And there's, just like this, Xhaka was stretchered off in the first half. Looks like I'm not 100% sure if it is Garcia, but whoever it is down is going to be stretchered off here for Manchester City. And I'm just coming to think if Manchester City have used up all their substitutions. I'm just going to check that for you. Of course, there is 5 substitutions since the Premier League return, no longer 3. And I can confirm for you that Manchester City have used up all their 5 substitutions. So, well, there's 7 minutes here for Arsenal once we do get underway, plus a lengthy bit of stoppage time to maybe get back into this, because it will be 10 against 10. But in fact, as I'm actually continuing to watch this, the bigger picture here is that the Manchester City and Arsenal players all look actually a bit distressed. I can see Mendy with his shirt covering his face, so it might have been quite a bad injury to what I still believe is Garcia down. There's loads of medics there with him. He is going to get stretchered off. They're walking away now. It did look like it was going to be a head injury. It was Ederson, his own player, who took him out. Ederson is smiling about it with Sterling. We're just going to keep you updated. It does look a bad injury. He's been down a while. He was taken out by his own goalkeeper, and he had no idea Ederson was coming out towards him. They're all standing around the player, and it's Mendy for Manchester City. He looks really distressed about this, which just makes you think it might be quite a bad injury. Him and Lacazette, though, having a conversation now about it. We are going to keep you updated. He is getting stretchered off, and I think I can confirm to you that it is the youngster Garcia, who's played fantastically for Manchester City today. And just before we do get back underway, just a question, if you are able to, something we would really appreciate here, if you're able to subscribe. We'll be streaming every game, or try to be streaming every game that isn't free on TV for you guys throughout the 6-week period that the Premier League will be back. Notification bell, if you do choose to subscribe, make sure to click that so you don't miss another stream. You'll be notified when we do stream and for what games we are streaming. Our next one that we are streaming is the next game that isn't free to air, which is Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester United. Both these teams' biggest rivals, going head to head for a big fixture, including the top 4 or the top 5 if you're thinking of Champions League football, because of course Manchester City might be banned from Europe for the next 2 years. As it stands, they will be. But there's a massive court case, massive debates whether that's happening. Firstly this season, firstly if it's a year or 2 years, and thirdly if it's going to happen at all. Pep Guardiola is just having a conversation with Phil Foden. It won't be long of this game once it does get back underway. And some players just passing it amongst each other from both sides with the ball, as they're just getting themselves back warmed up, because it looks like Garcia is going to be stretchered off any second. And one interesting thing to tell you, along with the banners which we've seen at both at Villa Park and around the Etihad, both sides of the stadium, by the goal, pitch level, there's a screen which is just showing live reactions from the Manchester City fans, just to make the players feel more at home, make it more normal if they can, what is a very strange situation across the world and of course for football. And everyone just looking concerned, and across the Manchester City bench as well for Garcia, who's still lying down on the floor. He's about to be lifted onto the stretcher. Of course, everything's so complicated with social distancing. It's not able to happen, of course, with the footballers. Well, certainly with the medics and how they come on, how they do it. This is worrying for Garcia, that's for sure. That's what we can say. There is a lengthy stoppage here. If you do have any questions about what's happened in the game, about any future streams, or about the channel as a whole, please ask while you can, really, while there is this stoppage in play. Ask that in the live chat and I'll get to you as soon as I can. And he is being stretchered here, Garcia. He's been lifted onto the stretcher now, and they're going to take him off. And certainly if there were a crowd, there'd be a massive round of applause for Garcia. But there's no crowd, and it certainly hasn't affected Manchester City today, as it's back to their usual selves, their usual winning ways. And for Arsenal, the wait will continue for an away victory at a top 6 side. The last time they did that was against Manchester City back in 2016. Santi Cazorla amongst the goal scorers in that one, as Garcia is being lifted off the pitch here. Whereas about the 81st minute when that happened, we're now in the 88th minute. So it's going to be a lengthy stoppage. And Manchester City, who've used up all 5 of their substitutions, will now have to last this period also down to 10 men. There's about, you'd say, maybe 10 minutes, including stoppage time, maybe a bit more, maybe slightly less for Arsenal. They're down to 10 men themselves, but it's back to a level playing field for the remainder of this game. 10 men on each side. Do Arsenal have one last bit of second wind within them to try and get something out of this game? As we do have pictures of Garcia. He's being wheeled off now along the touchline. It just looked like maybe there was an oxygen mask on his face, so there's certainly a lot of concern over him. But it's Arsenal on the ball as we're back underway. Mustafi trying to play it long, came off a City player. Bellerin picked it up. That was Nelson who tried to keep it for Arsenal. In the end, his ball deflected off of Foden, back off of him, out for a Manchester City throw down the left-hand side, which Mendy will come over to take. He hasn't played badly for Manchester City either. Sterling. And then came to Rodri, who was taken out by, I believe, Maitland-Niles. And City will have a free kick just inside the Arsenal half, by the halfway line, slightly down the left. And just seeming to be tired legs out there now. It's slowly coming towards an end. But of course, we don't know how much longer there is. We're 30 seconds away from knowing how much stoppage time there will be. Could be up to 10 minutes, could be slightly more due to the injury. Plus, of course, a red card, a penalty delay. 5 substitutions as opposed to 3 takes up more time. So we'll tell you in about 15 seconds time how much stoppage time there will be. And whether Arsenal maybe have any chance to get some sort of result here. They're 2 goals down as it stands. They're down to 10. So is City now. They've had more of the ball since the play's restarted. And as the 19-minute marks goes, we can say there's 11 minutes of stoppage time. So Manchester City have a throw down the right-hand side through Kyle Walker. Last time we had a amount of stoppage time this high was Spurs against Everton, when the unfortunate event of Gomez breaking his leg, that caused a long stoppage. This has also caused a long stoppage, and we do wish Garcia a quick recovery. We're not sure what injury, it may have been a head injury, I'm not sure, but Manchester City are on the attack here, and they found a ball in behind, and they've hit the post. It comes out to Foden, and he finds it into the back of the net, and it's 3-0 Manchester City. And if there was any chance of Arsenal getting back into it, well, it's completely gone now, and it's the substitute, one of the 5 substitutes, Phil Foden, who completely finishes this one off as he gets the rebound. I believe it was Rodri who was played in behind from Sterling. He hit the post via a Leno save, and it fell perfectly for Phil Foden, who places it into the roof of the net and makes it 3-0 Manchester City. And in the end, well, they've done better with 10 men as they are able to get themselves a goal. I think it might have been Aguero, who I didn't even know was on the pitch, who got a shot away and hit the post through a Leno save. Leno's made about maybe up to 10 saves today, and they've all been superb. But we will get the slide updated for you to your score slide for all the information. And if you're a City fan, what a perfect way to bring back football. If you're an Arsenal, a complete opposite. Sheffield United will be disappointed despite picking up a point at Villa Park, because goal line technology was incorrect, as they did score a goal which went past the line, but goal line technology didn't pick it up. So they'll be felt hard done by. And maybe the Arsenal teammates might feel a bit hard done by David Luiz, who certainly cost them this game. City have possession again. It's down the left with Mendy. As there's under 10 minutes now of stoppage time to go. It's certainly been a lengthy period. Bernardo Silva, Sterling. Through the middle is Kyle Walker. Lacazette tried to hold him back, couldn't. Rodri, down the left again. This is Mendy. And then Bernardo Silva, who was tackled, but then that came off him, out for an Arsenal throw down the right. We're just updating the goal scorer card for you, just to let you know that it was Phil Foden who scored the last goal, the latest goal for Manchester City. As they have possession again, Manchester City here. Down the left-hand side with Mendy. And whether Manchester City want to go for a 4th goal now, as Arsenal, they're completely knackered. Manchester City, all the energy is with them. And all the game has really gone their way. They've played it down the right towards Kyle Walker. He was looking for an option in the middle, didn't have one, and he's played it back now. Gundogan. towards Rodri, who I think's filled up the other centre-back role since Garcia has had to come off. The third injury. Garcia's certainly seemed the worst. It was down for a while. But City are in behind again here. Bernardo Silva cut inside on his left foot, shot it wide. Could have been 4, isn't 4. And Arsenal get away with 1. Because it could be getting embarrassing for them. A good ball by Gundogan to Bernardo Silva. Taking on Tierney, got it on his left. And he just slashed at the shot a little bit and it went wide of the post. And Arsenal play it out from the back from their goal kick, which was the theme in the first half. They've hardly had any possession throughout the second half. It's been tough for them, down to 10 men for the majority of this half. And City have dominated. They've created not as many chances, in fact, as what there was 11v11 in the first. But they've scored 2 goals since then. Of course, one of them being the penalty, which did result in the David Luiz red card in the 50th minute. As we are in the 96th minute now, there was 11 minutes added on in stoppage time. That's a good ball from Ederson. He's found Phil Foden, who's running through the middle. Aguero's to his right. Brilliant ball. Aguero's in. And that's not 4-0. It's Aguero. So unlikely to hit it wide. It looked like it went in. It hit the side netting. Brilliant ball from Foden. Well, brilliant ball from Ederson to find Foden. He just had to sprint through the middle from in his own half into the attacking half. Played it into Aguero to his right-hand side. And Aguero, well, he hit it too far to the right-hand side of the goal. It's hit the net, but the side of the net. And it stays at 3-0. And Arsenal are to get away with a late opportunity. And we are not far away now. Arsenal are playing it short again. Tierney on the ball for Arsenal. Down the left-hand side, it's Saka. Back towards Leno. Arsenal happy just to see it out. See it out at 3-0. Make sure it doesn't get any worse for them. It just gives me an opportunity to thank everyone who's tuned into the stream today. There'll be plenty more throughout the next 6 weeks when Premier League does return. Next game, Spurs against Manchester United. That'll be our next stream. 8:15 is when kickoff is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Of course, both these teams rivals, so make sure to tune into that. And if you don't want to miss any of our other streams, make sure to subscribe with notifications on. That'll be really, really appreciated. Also have an attack here. It's Lacazette, and he looks for Nelson at the back post. Well covered from Rodri. And that was a rare Arsenal move forward. We've only done that twice in this second half. Throw into Arsenal. They're in the Manchester City half, but they don't have an option. Saka doesn't know what to do with it. Tierney. There's not long to go now. There's about 3 minutes left in this one. 3 minutes to go, and there's been 3 goals for Manchester City. But Arsenal might just pull one back here. Nelson's in behind. He's cut back, and he's got a chance to get a ball in, and then it came to Aubameyang. His shot was blocked. Otherwise, it probably would have beaten Ederson from close range, and it's come out for an Arsenal corner, and I believe their first corner of the game. They are starting to come into it, Arsenal, but all too little, too late now. And Arsenal will have that corner. They're taking their time with it, and it's Nelson who is going to take it. An out-swinging ball if he does decide to put it in towards the penalty area. And then it's headed away at the near post by Gundogan, out for a throw down the right. Just over 2 minutes to go in this one. Manchester City going to pick up all 3 points, which means Liverpool can't win the league this weekend coming. It means they can win it in 2 games' time. Ball's played back to Leno. Chips it out to the left. Saka. Back to Leno again. Out to the right is Mustafi. Bellerin comes short. Mustafi plays it long though. Towards Lacazette. Deep position inside his own half. Back to Ceballos. And if there is any positive for Arsenal, you'll say it's Ceballos. He's had a good game through that midfield, particularly in the first half. It's been difficult for all the players in the second. Saka tries to run it forward. He's been tackled, but it's come out towards Bellerin. Lacazette down the right. Cuts inside, plays it to Aubameyang. He tried a 1-2 and it's been won back by Manchester City. Here's Aguero, deep inside his half. Good ball out to Phil Foden. Sterling's making a run in behind. Tierney able to stay with him. But Sterling's going to try and run in towards goal. He's been slowed down. There's a lot of players back for Arsenal. And then Aguero's going to take on a shot and it's a good block by Mustafi. Bounces out towards Lacazette. And we've entered the 100th minute in this one. Which means there's just 1 minute to go here at the Etihad before Anthony Taylor blows his whistle. But one thing you would say is this wouldn't be too good for fitness for these two sides. They've already had to play one game more than any other team, excluding Aston Villa and Sheffield United who played earlier today. But they will have to play one more than any other team. And now they've had to play 101 minutes here at the Etihad due to 3 injuries, one of them more serious than the others. 2 of them have been stretchered off. Xhaka stretchered off after 9 minutes. But more importantly, Garcia, it seemed a really bad injury for him after being taken out by his own goalkeeper, Ederson. That has created the lengthy stoppage, which is why there was 11 minutes added on, and which is why there is now only 15 seconds to go in this one at the Etihad. The now so-called away advantage hasn't affected Manchester City tonight. Arsenal will have to wait for a top 6 away from home victory, the last in 2015 away at City. But there is the final whistle. We played 101 minutes. City were on attack, but it was ended by the referee's whistle. And it's been a disappointing night for Arsenal, but it's been the perfect return for Pep Guardiola's side. Sterling's not happy that the referee blew his whistle, not allowing him to get that last attack. That could have very possibly been 4. But I want to thank everyone who's tuned in today, everyone who's stayed in right to the end, and everyone who's subscribed today. There'll be more streams across the 6 weeks. Next up is Tottenham against Manchester United. But thank you for watching today's game. Final score at the Etihad, Manchester City 3, Arsenal 0. And we'll see you shortly for another live commentary. Thank you very much for watching.